Hello guys, today I want to present one new book dedicated for Python users, and from this book you can learn a lot of new things. In this book you can find a lot of different things that you can learn, or if you're an advanced Python user you can get of new very different topics that you can use in practice today. So 3, 2, 1 and let's go.
And today I presenting the book is Python for Geek, and it is a very interesting book. I have just read it a couple of chapters, and look at the cover. First of all, it's totally yellow, and it's very different from other books from Pact publisher, and this is why I love to open this book. It's very good cover. It's very nice to recognize from our books. And let's go inside. Okay, and Python for Geeks, and it's written by Muhammad Asif. It is an author who published a lot of scientific papers in scientific world, and it's very experienced author. So I love the experience he got, and what he bring to the book. And let's go to table of content. And first of all, let's summarize what the amount of this book, and it is about how much is it? It is about 500 pages, and do you imagine how many topics, how many knowledge you can put in 500 pages? And first thing what it came to my brain is you shouldn't read this book just page after page. Go into your interesting topic, look what you want, and grab your knowledge into your practice. Okay, and from the beginning, I think we need to go a little bit chapter after chapter, and first thing is Python beyond the basics. And here it's some introduction into Python development lifecycle, and next to this is modularization to handle complex project. It's it's very important topic is using the import statement, loading and installation to a module, writing reusable modules. And from what I can say, it is topics that is never die. That means that it doesn't matter if you are junior level Python programmer, or if you're data scientist, or if you are DevOps programmer, or you are senior machine learning engineer. These topics never die, and you always can open the book and look what is benefit for you. So building a package, and this is the thing that I learned several months ago from scratch, and I can tell you that it's very important. Next, polymorphism is very rare explained topic across the our books, and it is explained in details in here. Okay, next section is advanced programming concepts. And in advanced programming concepts, you can find something about some types of standard Python variables, and then using iterators, generators for data processing, handling files in Python, and then about errors and exception, about logging. Yeah, logging. I want to stop a little bit here, because logging is the topic that I think many data scientists, maybe many Python programmers forgot, because logging can bring you a lot of information while debugging your code in developing stage, and you can use not only the print statement in your code, but I think special logging functionality in the Python. And next to this is testing and automation with Python. This is the topic what I'm learning right now, and I hope I will prepare some tutorials in my channel. So next to this is advanced tips and tricks in Python. Also, okay, here's what is here. It's introduction advanced tricks with pandas data frame, understanding advanced concepts with data structures. Okay, this is what I know, but maybe somebody else, for example, juniors, Python programmers, or somebody who want to join to data science world can get a benefit from the chapter. And okay, section number 3 is the most interesting, especially for me. It is a scaling beyond single thread. It is about multiprocessing, multithreading, and asynchronous programming. This is a theoretic and practical approach how you can to make your code more efficiently, how you can make your code running faster, and how you can to optimize your code. It is talking not about the code itself, but it is touching also infrastructure space. It's a CPU implementation, multiprocessing, and asynchronous programming for responsive system. And the next step is scaling out to Python clusters. So as you can see now, we are going further from the local machine to the cloud to what is around, and to more about how we can scale our projects. Next to this is Python programming for the cloud. And one thing what I can to highlight in here is that the author applied many examples for Google Cloud Platform. For example, I'm using AWS, but I think it doesn't matter because there are a lot of similar and the same logic between different vendors as Azure or Google Cloud Platform or AWS. So let's check it here and we can move forward. Section number 4, using Python for web, cloud, and network use case. Okay, very important is REST API. If you are data scientist or machine learning engineering or DevOps guy, you should know to write a microservice to prepare your REST API, to use a Flask framework to do it. It's all in one place. You can do it and practice by using the chapter. Next thing is using Python for microservice development. This is what I mentioned a little bit just a second before. And microservice, why we need to do it? Because when more and more people talking about MLOps, and we see that the trend of building a microservice is growing every day, because it is more efficient to write Python codes in microservice than a big monolithic application. And you can find the best practices, as you can see right here, in this chapter. So I really recommend to take a look in here. The next chapter is building serverless function in Python. Okay, I know that you can write a serverless function in Python, for example, in the AWS. Here is some example in GCP console. It is Google Cloud Platform console. So it's also not, this chapter is not too long, but also it touched not many books touch this topic, because it's also very important, and so I recommend to take a look in here also. And the section number 13, it is a Python and machine learning. What I can tell about this chapter: machine learning itself is very wide topic, and it covers many different topics inside, and the author tried to bring the most important points about machine learning from the beginning. He made some intro, he made some introduction into metrics, into problems of machine learning. As you can see, this chapter starts in page 434 and 457. It is about 20 or a little bit more than 20 pages. Not too much, but it is a good intro to machine learning. And this book is not totally dedicated for machine learning, but it's also connected the points between our chapters and machine learning. The next chapter is using Python for network automatization. I don't have a lot of experience in here, so I cannot evaluate the chapters in very deeply. So, but it is also the topic that is not touched in another books very deeply. So, I also recommend to take a look in here. Okay, that's all for the table of content, and from here I just recommend to go randomly across the book, and let's take a look what is really inside, because I just covered the table of content. Okay, here's okay, section number 1, it's a Python beyond the basics, optimal Python lifecycle. Okay, and here's some intro. Here's some graph. Yeah, the graph is very clear. Let's go forward. Network programming. Effective. Yeah, and effectively documenting Python code. It is about Python comments and docstrings and docstring styles. Docstring styles. Okay, I have experience in Python, I think about 5 years, and I'm guessing I will find something new in here. Okay, methods. What does not belong to the source control repository? Very interesting. Okay, let's look into what should not be checked into the source code repository. Firstly, anything other than the source code file shouldn't be checked in. The computer generated file should not be checked into source control. For example, let's assume that we have a Python source named main.py. Okay, as you can see, the style of written is very clear, is you can read it very in quick pace, and to find the most important topic in very simple words. That is very good, very nice. Okay, this is, I guess, is how to install virtual environment, something about Python development environment. Okay, and not waste the time too much in every single page. Just let's open some random page, for example. Okay, where is this? Okay, for example, learning how to build a lambda function and how the author introduced the section. You see, lambda function are anonymous functions that are based on a single line expression. Just as the def keyword used in the define regular function, the lambda keyword is used to define anonymous function. Lambda functions are restricted to a single line. This means they cannot use multiple statements and they cannot use a return statement. The return value is automatically returned after the evaluation of the single line expression. And here's an example, some different examples and some summarizings at the end. And this is how you can use function in more deeply. And what we want to highlight about this book style, that this is not a book where is all smallest things touched. It's the author touched the most important thing, and I think that when you open this book, you can find what you must know. And when you open this book, let's have the idea that it is not a nice to have, but it's must to have in your brains what is mentioned in this book for a specific topic. Okay, and just one thing, the most important thing that is related to a specific topic in brackets. For example, the GIL limitation does not exist in Jython and IronPython, which are our implementation of Python. This is the main idea what we are talking about in specific section. For example, what is a Python blind spot? It is about a global interpreter lock. I don't know this topic very deeply, so of course I will read it, and I see a big benefit to read these pages because it's written in very simple words, and I'm sure I will learn new things. Okay, in distribution tasking quiz, also very interesting. And as you can see that the codes that author provide to you are written in very clear manner. The most important keywords and definitions are written in bold, and the code sections are very clear explained, and the author provides the code from almost scratch. That means that if you open your Python editor, you can write the same code and reproduce and leverage into your real project by using this book and use it from scratch. Another thing is when you're talking about, for example, Spark, here's a lot of quite high quality screenshots, and for example about Spark, here's a lot of screenshots that you can to use in your practice. It's very cool prepared about Google Cloud Platform, and it's also explained. For example, look at this comment. It is very simple comment, and many authors from other books just skip the explanation of this, but this author explained in simple words. And I never think what I need to mention. For example, let's open the random chapter and, for example, setting up a GCP Cloud project. As you can see, here's some intro, and after intro, it is a steps. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, step number 5, and where is that? Step number 6 and step number 7, and etc, etc. That means that you can use this book by steps, and this is how I prepare my video tutorials on my channel, because this is the way for the readers to use, not to read only this topic as a simple text, but to use it in words. For example, building Python application. Here you will use a REST API. Why we need a REST API? What is the business value for this? How the code is look like by using a REST API. REST API is related with Flask. It is written right here. This is the code how you can to use a REST API in Flask. All the things. This is a data format who are friendly with REST API. It is a JSON. This is what you must to know. It is about the requirements for the REST API. Some file structure. Cool. You can find a lot of things. So, and by summarizing what is inside this book, you can learn, understand how to design and manage complex Python project, strategize test-driven development in Python, explore multithreading and multiprogramming in Python, use Python for data processing with Apache Spark and Google Cloud Platform, deploy serverless programs on public cloud such as Google Cloud Platform, use a Python to build a web application and application programming interfaces, apply Python for network automatization and serverless functions, get to grip with Python for data analysis and machine learning. Cool. And one of the last thing, let's open the book again and look to some schemas. For example, like right here, it is about try statement. The next one, it is about some logging levels. Next thing, where some random. Where is that? Here's a codes. For example, I saw right here. Here's a screenshot. I just want to try to make a zoom, and I can confirm that the quality of the printing in this book is in very high level. It is not just a granular screens. It's not a granular schemas. It is printed in very, very high level. So I can to confirm it. For example, right here, I'm just zooming in. You see what the quality is. It's very high quality. I like it. Yeah. Okay. So all in all, I see a lot of reasons to read this book. I think that I opened this book many times in my daily routine because I'm working with very different topics in my current job, and this is what I'm recommend to use for you also in your practice, in your learning journey, and in your future. So Python for Geek is written in 2021. It is a very fresh content. And it will help you absolutely. So I strongly recommend to do it. So I think that's all for this video. This is the book that I really recommend. This is a strong book. Let's imagine that you can buy 3 different books and to read it each book after and you can read it one after one. Instead of this, you can buy this book and find the same topics but in one place, written in very simple words. That's the final word, and I recommend to you never stop learning, read the books, take a courses, and never stop learning. That's all, and thank you.